Welcome to the It's All Fine and Dangy podcast, where hosts Dan and Angie talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and dangy.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. We hope you are having a wonderful start to your week, or a wonderful week if you're listening to this later on in the week. How many times can I say week?
I love it. Oh, you're almost like me on our first episode. Our first episode, I said the word podcast 42 times.
Yes.
So I try not to say it now. Then I did a supercut where it would go ding every time.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
So we're super excited about our small business that is joining us today.
Yes, we are.
We discovered this amazing little treat at Tornator's 14th anniversary celebration.
Yes, we did. They did like that thing out in the parking lot.
Yeah, like a little
with
farmer's
vendors.
market style street party kind of thing, celebrating them in the neighborhood for 14 years and their delicious food that they offer. And of course, we bought all food products from all the vendors that were there. We always come home with food. But we discovered the best pickles.
They really are. So we're sitting here with Liv Sain from Liv's Gourmet Pickles. Liv, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me and that compliment. The best
Oh
pickles.
my goodness. So first of all, like when we were kind of like doing the walkthrough of just checking out all the booths there, the presentation was amazing. So I feel like that's the first thing that kind of draws you in, right? You got like these bright, vivid colors, and it just draws you in, the marketing and everything like that. And then it's pickles, who doesn't love pickle, right? But not all pickles are created equally. Right? So that's kind of what we're here to talk about, guys, because we did say that it's Liv's Gourmet Pickles. So we're going to talk about what makes them so gourmet.
And can I say, we're going to get into this, but we'll buy like jars of pickles in the fridge and have them for weeks or months or whatever.
Years, who knows?
So listener, this is a whole different thing. This is like you'll sit down and eat one. And when I say one of these pickles, they are gigantic pickles and you can eat the whole thing in one sitting because it's delicious. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So the first thing I wanted to ask was, how did you come up with an idea for a pickle company?
How pickles? Pickles.
Yeah.
It is, it's funny. It's still a little surreal. I still laugh about it. Because I never thought I'd be making pickles. It's not what I started doing. It kind of happened by accident last year, 2022. So I developed a lot of food allergies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So later in life, developed food, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to words. I can't say them.
Oh, I love it.
No, it's actually, it's weird. I developed food allergies, but it kind of connected with alcohol. So I all of a sudden started gaining all this weight. I had all this inflammation, had a lot of health issues. I couldn't get out of bed for weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. I went to hospitals, doctors. They couldn't really figure out what was going on until I found this great DO, and he did a food allergy test, and it came back all of these allergies. So literally...
What's a DO, sorry?
It's...
What is a DO?
Is it
a chiropractor?
No, it's...
Hold on. I know. Skip it. I'm going to figure it out.
Angie
I know what it means.
We just want you to know this is an interesting story, and I do want to hear the rest. But Angie asked if it was a chiropractor that told you that you had food allergies.
Just stop.
I'm failing at this podcast.
No, you don't need to. Did you come on this podcast thinking you need to know what DO means? No.
I should know this because I really should, but I don't know why I'm having a brain fart right now.
I'm a health and wellness coach.
Can you look it up real quick?
I'm a health and wellness coach. You think I would know?
But what conceptually, though, what is DO?
It's more of a concierge doctor.
Okay.
So we're just going to go with that for right now.
I like that. That sounds fancy.
Yeah.
There you go. So, but he was very good. He turned my health around, and he did this food allergy test, which was a blood test.
Oh,
and it
wow.
lit up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, how weird. And you didn't have these allergies before.
No, that's the weirdest thing. And we wonder if it was related to medication I took in the past, if it was related to alcohol, which I had abused for many years, to be completely transparent.
Sure.
And so basically I couldn't have gluten, dairy, soy, chicken, pork, some veggies, some fruits. I couldn't have anything.
So you could have air.
Basically.
And water.
Wow.
Basically.
Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine.
Okay, there you go.
There we
Okay.
go. It was a big word in there. That's what it was.
I mean, just as a little point on the DO thing, I think that I am a firm believer that a lot of the times when you go to a doctor that's not part of one of these big medical groups or this insurance thing, and if it's like a one-off, that's where a lot of the real breakthroughs come through.
Yep.
Because they don't have any vested interest in anything other than really finding out what's wrong.
Right. I mean, he did tests that no one else did.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
great. So this test came back. I was allergic to basically everything. And I started following the diet and I started losing weight. And the inflammation went down. But I didn't remove the alcohol from my life. So everything was kind of not really happening as fast as I would have liked it to. So I started making pickles because I basically had to make my own recipes with everything. I couldn't eat out anymore. So I had to create
Because
everything.
you just never know what is in
Yeah.
the product. Even if they say it's clean and free of this, it might have
Right.
been in a kitchen that had it in there. And if
Yep.
you're that sensitive, then you're going to pay the
all
next
the
day.
hidden ingredients that you don't know about.
And that stuff's bad for everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
We do it sometimes. But so I'm curious. So you had this big challenge. You had to totally go through these gymnastics to eat right. You were still drinking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't really helping yet.
It was slowly helping, but the alcohol was one thing I still didn't remove. So, which I'll get to that later.
Sure.
So I started making my own recipes. I cooked everything from home, and pickles was one of them. And I just, one day had too many cucumbers. So I was like, hey, why not make some more pickles? So I started making pickles, and a couple people were like, these are really good. You should sell them. Like, why would I sell pickles? How am I going to make a living
How am I
selling
gonna
pickles?
Yeah. What kind of money can I make
Right.
off this?
Yeah.
I just thought, I laughed. I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So basically, I posted one picture of. So I started serving them in glass quart-sized jars, mason jars.
The mason
Oh,
jars,
wow.
yeah.
And I posted one picture without even trying or saying, "Hey, this is for sale." I just posted the picture, and I sold 40 quarts that week.
Holy
Oh,
moly.
what a great
Well,
sign.
that's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, wow, there's something to the pickles here, but I don't have a food permit. Am I allowed to do this?" So before I could even pursue it, I ended up having to go to a detox program.
Okay.
So that's where the alcohol comes in.
Sure.
I had abused it for about 11 years because I lost my dad at the age of 23, experienced way more loss after that, and just wasn't in good situations for years, was in a very dark place for years, trying to find my place. So I just used alcohol to escape and to numb the pain.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I had to go to a detox program for the second time in order to change my life. And when I came out of detox, obviously I had way too much time on my hands.
Of course. Yeah.
And you needed something to kind of keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
in your social circles, you don't want to go around those social circles that you were in when you're doing that. I wouldn't, right?
No, you
So-
literally have to change everything.
Yeah.
And you had already kind of started that. So you had started with the food, because
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out what's going on with your body. So you're
Right.
starting this one path, and then here we're going into another
Yeah.
path that we're kind of going on.
Right. And that was how I coped. Cooking was how I coped with
Yeah.
life's obstacles. And
I think that's probably a semi-healthy way to cope with it.
is.
If you're not, making
you're not
French fries
frying
every day
everything.
or something. Right.
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 Fortunately, I was drinking while cooking in the past, but now I can't really do that. So now I have to learn how to cook without it.
Right.
But so I left the detox program, and I'm like, I have way too much time on my hands. Now I have to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? How am I going to reinvent myself? And I asked myself, if I could do anything, what would it be? And pickles came to my mind.
That's too great.
I was literally in a pickle trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with my life, and pickle became the solution.
Yes. Look at that.
That is great.
So I was a little embarrassed to say it out loud to people because the comments I would get, the reaction, the facial expressions, like, really? Pickles? Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's the exact same face you made when your friend said, you
Yes.
should sell these.
That's exactly what I got from people.
You know
I
what?
thought it was
though?
a joke.
I'm not trying to be negative, but people like to sort of crap on each other's dreams sometimes
They
too.
do,
yeah.
So you got to watch for that because I'm a firm believer in reach for the stars.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to jump ahead. I'm just wondering, you said you sold 40-quart jar. How are you making that many pickles from home? Are you just up all night?
But that's before you even, was that before you went into detox? You were just...
So yeah, that was before. So prior to detox, I just posted that one picture, sold 40, and I was offering 2 for $25 jars at the time, and it was just blowing up.
Yeah.
Every time I
presentation.
That's what it's funny because people are like, you don't give samples, and I say no, because you don't really get to sample a steak at a restaurant, do you?
Yeah.
And I sell it based on presentation first, and then taste next.
Okay.
And then they get addicted.
And we
They
were,
come
we
back
were
for
thinking
more.
we were thinking about samples after we left, like, oh, she would sell like crazy. But then I started thinking, there's a thing about pickles, and maybe it wouldn't matter, but if they've been sitting out for 4 hours,
yeah. They
it's
dry
a different
out.
experience than what it's going to be, right?
That's it. I had a sample at one of the farmers markets, and it was awful because
Yeah.
it was already warm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the pickles, as you can see, is an experience. Dipping your hand in there, getting it out of the juice, pushing, scraping off the seeds.
Getting the seeds.
I eat all that stuff stuck to it myself, honestly. We'll talk about that too, but I loved it. And we'll just to sort of sneak peek into the rest of the conversation, those jalapenos that are floating around I totally
they're
love those
delicious.
too. So it was a bonus after I was done with the pickle. But so anyway, let's go. So you went to detox the second time. You came back out. You're changing your life. Were you immediately still thinking about the pickle thing that you'd sold the 40 before, or were you trying to think of how to reinvent yourself and remembered, oh, I sold all those pickles that time?
Yeah, that was it. I remembered the potential of the pickle.
Right.
Because before, I actually had written 3 books. I was an author.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
And
well,
I
you and
was-
Dan have things to talk
There you
about.
go.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And I was speaking. I did a TEDx talk. So I
Oh,
thought I wanted
cool.
to be a speaker.
Yeah.
And COVID hit, screwed everything up.
You're
Yeah.
not allowed to talk anymore.
No.
In front of people.
Apparently not.
You're a remote speaker, right?
Yeah. And that just didn't go anywhere. And so that was something I tried to think about all the different things I had done and what do I really want to do. And food was something I always enjoyed. So then I thought about the pickles, the potential, and I thought, well, I sold 40 quarts and I wasn't really trying. So imagine if I actually pursued it full time, like where could it really go? And that's when I started. And I look at the pickle too as a metaphor for transformation and change. So once you become a pickle, you can't really go back to a cucumber. So kind of,
Okay.
yeah. So I look at my experience as the pickle.
Yeah.
We're
Well, I
going
mean-
deep here, buddy.
Right?
That's an interesting kind of way to tell the story of your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good marketing tool.
It is.
And
yeah.
Pickle potential. Say
There
that.
you
Pickle
go.
potential.
Pickle perspective. It gave me hope. It gave me purpose. It gave me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
And it's doing well from what I
Yeah.
gather.
I literally just made 20 gallons yesterday and today for a hotel. I
That
landed.
is cool.
I
You
landed-
landed like a hotel chain
Yeah,
or
I'm not going to say the names. I don't know if I'm really allowed to, but
Because they want to kind of
are they
people
rebra-
think
are they,
they're their pickles.
right,
You
it's
know.
their pickle.
But who
Oh.
cares? You're
are they
like,
rebranding the pickles?
No, Liv's Gourmet Pickles is being
Oh.
sold to 2 different hotel properties at the moment.
That
Okay, well,
is
you'll have to
awesome,
tell us
girl.
after so that we can take notes when we can say, because surely at some
yeah.
point, and then we'll mention it in another episode for sure. But how amazing is that?
And you know what's even more amazing? The people that laughed at me when I told them I wanted to start a pickle business.
Yeah. Who's laughing now?
Right? Who's laughing now?
This is not your typical pickle. I love that she has that on her website.
Literally typical pickle.
Not your typical pickle, baby. So let's walk through a little bit of the process, because you said, can I even sell these? Like, what do I need to do? Like,
And-
did you have to get into, figure out how to run a cottage? What is it called?
The cottage license.
License, yes.
So yeah, I had to learn everything on my own. I had no idea what I was doing. And the cottage license doesn't apply to pickles.
What?
I guess it only applies to like
baking?
jams,
It
baking,
It
breads.
probably doesn't apply. Apply.
Pie.
What am I thinking about?
Because I
Apply.
said baking.
It doesn't apply to baking. No, it
Okay.
does. I'm guessing anything that is pickled whether it be pickles or olives
Beets.
or whatever, because
your
it's probably
favorite.
something about the how it's preserved.
Yeah, and anything that could potentially make you sick or grow anything on it, it has to have an actual food permit. And you have to go to a commissary. So I have to go to a commissary kitchen in order to make my pickles.
What is the difference in a commissary kitchen? I don't know.
In my opinion, compared to your home,
Yeah.
I would. In my opinion, I think your house is cleaner.
That's just a law. What, do
Yeah,
you have
it's
more
just a
room? Do you
law.
have more
Okay.
space? Do you have more?
It's the thing about the commissary is it's usually a shared space.
Yeah.
It's a shared kitchen with other people. But the problem is, I can't tell you how many times I've walked in there and the floors are filthy.
Yeah.
And it's really not any cleaner. It's my house is cleaner, but I can't legally do that.
I gotcha.
Do you have to reserve? I'm just fascinating to me too. But do you have to like reserve your night for the?
You do.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're not showing up where a guy's like chopping raw meat on the counter.
No. So you can reserve your own time or
Okay.
you can also reserve shared time, but you have to go there in order to make your product.
Okay. And then are you, like, as the person who's, like, renting the space, are you responsible for the cleanup or do they have?
Yes.
Oh, you are.
You have
Okay.
to clean and do the floors and everything. Mhm.
Okay.
That
Okay.
explains the dirty floors because I'm sure some people are like, looks good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody-
because I was wondering, like, because you're renting the space, I was wondering, is that included in it? But
Yeah.
Yeah, you're responsible to clean up after your.
oh, that's
after
very
yourself.
interesting. I always wondered what the difference, was.
Yeah,
in
I
that
pictured
kind
like
of
this big commercial kitchen and you have a crew
stainless
helping you.
steel
And
Yep.
Yeah.
all that kind of
all
stuff.
industrial stuff, probably.
So I'm just sort of doing the timeline in my head, but now you've decided you're making something out of this. You're going to go forward with the pickle thing. Did you start with? You found out what the laws are and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start with just one flavor? Did you start with the same flavors you have now?
Yeah, I started with one flavor. I started with the dill.
Okay.
And
Which is probably the most popular of,
It is.
of pickle flavors.
And the other thing I will mention too is the other reason why I was even more motivated to pursue this is because 20 billion pickles are eaten every year.
So you did your research about the product to make
wow.
sure that, okay, like this is something people are purchasing.
Yeah, so I figured 20
People are purchasing pickles.
People are purchasing
yeah.
pickles.
There's enough pickle enthusiasts to keep me in business.
No
Yeah.
I
doubt.
thought
That's
I can do it.
insane. That
That's
is
a lot.
insane. Yeah.
Especially when you've done a little bit of a different twist, because people do, I know anybody that goes to farmers markets, we're always looking for something like a kind of unique food product or something that you're just not going to find on the shelf in a grocery store.
Right.
We want something a little different. And I think that's the first thing that kind of drew our eye was it wasn't just your whole pickle, but you actually have the English cucumbers cut in like 1 inch, like big old chunks.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to make a pickle the way I wanted a pickle to be made, thick, fresh, crunchy, and flavorful.
Yep.
And I didn't start out doing the inch. I just started slicing thick, but then I wanted to do something a little more unique, a little more consistent. And I was like, why don't I do an inch? Because nobody does an inch thick pickle.
And I would think that it stays crispy longer in the juice. You know how when you get to the bottom of a pickle jar, if you ever buy like pickle slices, they're kind of like, all soggy and gross. You're going to eat them anyway, let's be honest.
You're
So I get it totally.
It's true that because those pickle chips, they're so thin, they get soggy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I do the thick, 1 inch thick, because it stays crisp longer and it
Yeah.
absorbs more flavor.
Yeah. Oh, they're so delicious.
What?
And I love that you're just putting like, you can tell the veggies you're using are very fresh.
Yes.
Because of the color. You're not using any preservatives in there to, keep the color. So like you have the whole, pieces of jalapeno that are sliced, the rosemary. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
A whole piece of rosemary in there, and you put like coriander and some other things in there. Yeah. I know you have your secret recipe.
Right.
But you can see the freshness of the ingredients.
Yeah.
And through your presentation, you used to do mason jars, but you have like these clear
Bags.
now, and you can just see it. I like that you can see your food.
I do too. And I'll say this: I was, once I finished all the pickles, and I was saying how good those jalapeno slices are. Whatever your secret recipe is, it's crazy because anytime you have a slice of a raw jalapeno, unless it is pickled soggy, it is going to blow your face off with heat. And it didn't. It was crunchy. And it had a little bit of the heat, but it was super tasty and not quite as tasty as the pickle, but it was definitely a close runner-up. It was like almost like I had more pickle left. It was really good. So I don't know
so
if everybody eats all the stuff out of the bag, like I was scrounging around in there, but it was really good. Everything in there was really good.
That's awesome.
I just thought of this, but with your marketing and your labels and your flavors and your website, which has done really well, have you thought about having like merchandise, like T-shirts or
Yes, it's funny because
Oh my gosh.
another
Yeah,
thing.
you need it.
that
yeah.
would so sell?
I've always wanted a T-shirt line.
Yeah.
And now that I have a pickle company, I guess I could incorporate
But
T-shirts.
because you could have some clever, funny sayings on it with a picture of a pickle, but all those
Right.
all the stupid jokes we're making right now. But that,
I just love your saying on your website, not your typical pickle.
Yeah.
Because that could apply to a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not typical. Like, I
Don't wanna be.
And I'm proud.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
proud not to be typical, So that would be a super cute T-shirt.
Yeah, I think it would go really well. But let's talk about those flavors. So you started with dill, you have rosemary, and you have sweet jalapeno. That's my favorite, of course, is the last one. Are you sticking with those three? You have plans for more?
So I actually started with the dill.
Yep.
And the reason I added the rosemary was for people who didn't like dill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I did the herbs the way I did, or the brine, how I created my brine, was I just wanted to switch out the herb to make it easy. So it's the same brine, I just switch out the herb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sweet jalapeno is basically, for people who like spicy. I mean, lots of people love spice,
Sure.
and that's a very popular
I bet.
pepper. And then I started offering sweet habanero.
I saw that one on is that something that's in your line now, or is it a made to order?
More of if someone wants it. The reason I started it was because my neighbor loves spicy, but she
Yeah.
likes it on fire.
Burn your mouth off like our friend
Yeah.
Carlos.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. She goes, I want it hotter. So then I said, well, how about I make you a habanero? And she goes, and she loved it, but she said she could go hotter. And
Okay.
I'm like, holy
Yeah.
moly.
Holy.
And I started offering that, but not many people like it that
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
So I took that away. I did offer just regular sweet, but it didn't sell as much. So I started, I figured make my life easy, just offer the top 3 flavors.
Of course.
Rosemary, dill, and sweet jalapeno. And I don't know. As of right now, I'm just kind of keeping it simple.
Yeah,
And
I mean it's
this
a great
works, so-
selection, and I'll
Yeah.
say I do sometimes like things really hot, but I don't know that it marries well with the pickle. The jalapeno flavor you have, I can't say enough good things about.
Yeah.
We should have had you bring some. I forgot all about it. So let's
Oh, you
find
could have
out.
taken a bite of the crunch.
Yeah.
And people could have heard it. Oh,
that
this
would have been-
microphone.
that would have been really cool.
Oh, we might have to create a little commercial.
yeah, next
That
time.
would
Well, we
be
have
fun.
some left in the fridge. That would be.
I have a couple of rosemaries.
Oh,
You
that'd be
could-
I
perfect.
do.
A nice
we should do a
crunch.
little
I ate
commercial.
mine of day one.
will
Everything
be
in the
cute.
bag.
So I love the rosemary. So this is my suggestion to people is we usually put like the little gherkins on like a charcuterie board. But the rosemary blends so well with like the flavors that you would normally have on like the type of charcuteries I do.
Yes.
You got your Italian market meats and cheeses and all the fancy stuff. But to take those pickles and probably quarter them, you'd have to quarter them and put them on, add them to your charcuterie board.
We've been
A little
taking.
yeah.
piece of rosemary right next to it, and it absorbs the rosemary. You're like, do those two flavors go together? Does a pickle and the rosemary,
Right.
and it really is delicious.
That's awesome.
And
to
I
hear.
love rosemary. I'm the type of person where if I see a rosemary bush, I'm going to be running my hands through it
Yeah.
so I can like rub it on my face and
Smell it. But
People are like, what is she doing?
But Angie has a good point because Denny Tornator does the charcuterie classes.
Yeah.
And we've taken the first level class, but what you can tell right away is the complexity of a like if you really want to do, you're putting on a nice dinner party and you want to do a really nice charcuterie, but not the typical gherkins and lunch meat and stuff, but like the really high-end meats and the high-end cheeses that are straight from Italy and the truffle honey and all these really nice things. Those pickles would be perfect
Yes.
like that. They'd fit right in with that because it's still high-end, but you get your pickle in there still.
And I like
so.
people to see things they haven't seen before when they have a charcuterie at my
Yeah.
house.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. Just try it.
Just try it.
I'm not putting the names on everything. Just try it,
Right.
please. Try something a little different, out of your comfort.
Did you have to try a bunch of different flavors before you settled on those three? Or the first one, of course, was dill, but the other two? Or is that just kind of what your taste is and you thought would be a good...
You know, it's funny. I actually have It's funny. I don't like spicy, and I didn't try my own sweet jalapeno. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I had people come over for taste test that actually like spicy. I just can't stand spicy, and it gives me really bad reflux.
Sure.
So I wouldn't be a good judge of character for that. So I had people come over who like hot.
What a tough gig. Come over and try all these gourmet.
How do we get on
try
that
free
list?
pickles. So they told me
list for the next time.
so I did a couple tests, some with seeds, some without seeds, and the winner was with seeds. So I used an entire jalapeno with seeds. And the beauty of the sweet jalapeno is a lot of people say it's just that nice kick at the end.
Yes.
And it's not so hot that it takes away the sweet flavor.
Exactly.
Which a lot of spice does. You can't even taste it because your mouth is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect little kick at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we've done a hot wing challenge here before with some local hot sauces, and some of them are just like, there's
Jet
no
fuel.
tasting anything. It's just there.
Some of
for
them
the
are
heat,
delicious.
basically.
Yeah, and to me, the hotter it gets, a lot of the time they get lost in just trying to make it hot, and then it doesn't taste like anything but hot. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, I definitely think you kind of nailed it with your recipe, with your brine and everything. So I mean, it's obviously having really good response. So we found you at a farmer's market. I mean, it was kind of a special event that was going on, but is that mainly kind of like where you started, or you kind of started online, right? With people doing that. Tell us the transition from starting online, moving into markets. Like what was the process there? Yeah.
When I first started online, it was really difficult because I didn't know how I was going to distribute the pickles. I mean, it's just me doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the heck am I going to deliver it? First of all, I don't have a store, so I don't have a place people can go to. I only have this commissary kitchen. I only have this online website. How the heck am I going to drive traffic and deliver pickles? I just didn't. Do I use Uber? Do I use DoorDash?
Yeah.
But then how do you trust somebody to transfer your pickles and it not break? I didn't know what to do. So I ended up doing the online sales, and I offered local delivery.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, who's going to pay delivery for pickles? It was the craziest thing. And I started consulting people, like, would you actually pay for delivery to have pickles delivered? And given, the world nowadays, everyone kind of likes convenience. So COVID kind of made it more comfortable to just have stuff delivered to your home. So I figured, you know what, why not? Let's just try it. And it actually worked out. A lot of people did buy online. So I would literally show up and say, hi, your pickle delivery's here. And everyone would kind of laugh. They'd never heard that before. And I was getting all the online orders, and I was delivering all the pickles. And then after that, I started doing markets. And I did my first market in November, and then I did it in December, January, and
you started at a good time for markets, the cooler months.
Yes, and right around the holidays. So
perfect.
People were buying pickle jars for holiday gifts.
Yes.
So then I added a holiday blend, which was the top seller in December. It was the rosemary, but I added cranberries, orange peel, and peppercorn.
Interesting.
Oh, nice.
So the color contrast was so pretty, and the aroma of the jar was
and
great.
how was the taste? Because that seems like it would be a good combination.
So good.
Yeah.
It was very refreshing. Now, you don't taste the cranberries.
No.
Just more for the look, but it was very refreshing.
Yeah, with the orange in there, a little bit of the citrus in there.
Yep.
Contrasted with the rosemary.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. It sounds really cool. Have you fully switched away from jars now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still have jars. If people want it, I'll give it to them. But it's more for now, maybe for presentation and parties.
Yeah.
Even for charcuterie boards too. But I just sold a couple jars last week for a private party. So I figured I'm just going to steer away from the jars, but only offer it for looks.
So I'm just saying, just something to put in there in the thought mechanism for later. If you do go to start having your own branded merchandise, like T-shirts or whatever, I think jars would be really cool as a thing that you can purchase on. Like you can purchase a gift set of pickles that comes in the jar with your label and all that. That's more not just for us, like you're going to eat them, but this is going to be gifted to somebody.
Yeah.
Or, it made me think of some of the other brands we met with recently where it's all super fancy if you're just going to give it to somebody versus I just want to buy it and eat
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
You know,
Yeah.
you could have like a case or something that opens up that has 3 jars in it,
Yeah.
one of each or something. But
Absolutely.
I think that'd be really cool.
Because people look, like for gift set ideas, like people are looking for something unique,
Yeah.
different, you know.
Well, and somebody even bought at a market, they even bought my pickle jar just for a table decor for a Christmas dinner.
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I really want you to eat them, but it's
Right.
okay, whatever you want
Yeah.
to do.
So you still make all these to order? Is that what you do?
Yeah, so it's all made to order. You know, of course, like at markets, if I have leftover.
Yeah.
But I really am very picky about selling them months later. I don't do that to customers.
Yeah.
I have to make them fresh, so they last longer for everybody. So it's all made to order.
And you've been testing them, so you know like what the life expectancy is
Yeah.
of it, and you know when it's, because what happens if they let it sit in there for too long and then they say, oh, okay, I'm going to eat those now, and it's just not the same as
Right.
when you first are going to experience it.
Right.
So
I would also hope that if you're going to go buy a gourmet pickle, this is a very high-end thing for a pickle. You're not going to let it sit in your fridge like
Yeah.
a jar of pickles. You're going to eat it within the next week or so.
Yeah.
That would be my expectation if I were selling them. But you're preparing them. You had a saying on your website I love that says Liv shops, chops, prepares, and delivers. So you're buying the cucumbers, you're chopping them up, you're making them into pickles, and you're doing all the delivery all by yourself.
All
still.
by myself.
Wow.
And now I'm doing the 2 hotels, and yeah, it's a lot. I mean, of course, my mother helps me, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without her. But I'm trying to literally do it as long as I can until I physically can't keep up.
yeah.
But right now, I'm so tired from making pickles.
But are you? I'm just curious because does that mean? Well, first off, when you make them, are you making them fresh and then delivering them and having the hotel or whoever refrigerate them after they're delivered? Because otherwise, you'd have to have 20 refrigerators.
I know. Right now, I'm good. Right now, I can hold a good amount of pickles in my fridge. But yeah, usually I have to make them at the commissary and then refrigerate them. And then once they're brined and ready to go, then I deliver them to the hotel. So I don't deliver them until they're ready to eat.
But you deliver them cold then.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
all cold.
Oh, wow.
And the good news is the hotels usually sell cold pickles.
Of course.
But
I'm
yeah.
just thinking as you grow here.
I'm going to have to get more storage,
Or
more
something.
space,
Yeah.
fridge space.
I was going to
Liv's
say.
going to have a garage just full of refrigerators.
I mean, you could.
Pretty much.
You could have
Yeah.
you could have 8 or 10 refrigerators, and you could also have people helping you cook at your commissary. You know, you're going
Yeah.
to have to grow. The way it seems
You're
like
going to
it's
have to
growing.
have a helper. Yeah.
I am eventually. It's going to reach that point. It is.
What a
And
good problem to have,
I
though.
was just going to
Hey,
say, it's a great
dang it.
problem to have.
And when did you start doing this?
I started in my first market was November.
20
Oh.
of last year.
Just last
2022,
November.
right?
So 5 months.
Oh, I love this. So I
moly.
love it when we find a small local business that is just taken off like a rocket from day one. So,
Well, you know what's funny? I've been told, what does it take, 5 years for a small business to really take off? Or
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
what it is, but I thought to myself, 5 years? Yeah, right, 5 months.
Yeah.
I just try to do things different.
That's
When
just-
you tell me, oh no, it'll take 5 years, like, no, it's going to take me less.
Yeah, I can't.
or I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not sticking around here. I wouldn't be able to for like 5 years.
I'm
It's
more
like,
determined to make it happen. I
Yeah.
like proving people wrong. It's
Yeah.
a great feeling.
sure.
I mean, it's I think it's going to do very well. Have you reached out to any local little boutique style what do I want to say? Little gourmet stores. You know what I mean? Places like the Italian market or
Yeah.
places that sell like the gourmet olive oil, stuff like this that are kind of boutique-y.
You'd have to have a refrigerator in there
Oh, that's
somewhere
true.
for sure.
That's the only issue is a lot of people, because it's shelf stable, they prefer,
Shelf space versus
Yes.
it's really
refrigerator.
hard. I did do that at the East End. It just was really hard because their space was limited.
Yeah.
But I've had people, ask me, can you change it to shelf stable? No, because that's
It changes the product completely.
The look. I mean, just when you go to Publix and you look at all of the shelf stable
No
pickles.
pickle looks pretty.
No,
like on the
it looks
shelf.
just kind of
I
nasty.
remember when we were younger, when the first brand that I can remember came out with cold pickles that you bought in the refrigerator section, how much better they were, even at the mass market size, how much better they were than the old school jar of dill pickles we got when we were kids.
Well, that's like the ones I get are the ones
garlicky
that, what's the name?
Clausen is what I'm thinking of.
No, this is like anyway, it's got, like when you shake it up, it's milky looking.
Oh.
But that's good.
It looks disgusting. I won't eat them.
It looks disgusting, but there's like good probiotics in there.
She keeps telling me that. We'll show you the
it's
jar.
It's like the fermentation process. There's good probiotics for your belly.
I just can't eat it, though. It looks like sauerkraut.
I can't wait to hear that back.
It's good for, it's good.
It looks like there's sauerkraut in there.
Fermented stuff is good for you.
It is. Yeah.
So that's,
very good for
you
your
know,
gut.
those pickles have been, fermented and they have that, good bacteria.
Interesting. I wonder what that is. You have to send me it.
I'm going to show you it. It's in
Yeah,
my
that jar's still in there
refrigerator.
because I won't eat them because it looks
Wow.
disgusting. Yeah. Presentation matters.
It does.
It does, but they're still good for you, so you can still eat them. Whoa. I just hit the table. I did the no-no that everybody else has been doing so good at.
We're all
and
very gently putting our elbows on the table. So, Liv, tell us about the Realize Foundation.
The Realize Foundation. Yes. So Deanna Mitchell, the founder. So I met her a couple years ago when I was speaking, and we connected, and we have very similar stories. And she started this whole foundation where their mission is to reduce suicide through human connection.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So she basically takes real life stories and she put it in a book called Scars to Stars. And she has a couple different volumes where she uses people's stories to help others. And so part of Liv's Gourmet Pickles is I donate to a charity every month. And she was the first one that I chose because I love what she's doing and we're
Yeah.
great friends.
Yeah.
And every bag sold, $1 goes to her, and every gallon sold, $3 goes back to
I
her.
love that.
Oh, I do
Yeah. So
that is going to come back to reward you in so many ways.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And not only you, but the organization that you're, helping to support
Yeah.
and giving back to. We love when we see small businesses, and I feel like so many of them do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I think it's just the right thing to do.
Well,
right?
and it connects with my story, going
Yeah.
from detox to making pickles and suffering from mental health for so long
So
and
many
addiction.
years, yeah.
I just wanted to choose a charity that was close to my heart and give back to the
Yeah.
community. And I wanted to do more than just make pickles.
Yeah.
I just wanted something a little more meaningful and purposeful.
Isn't that the title, Pickles with a Purpose, or what it? Pickle.
Actually, pickles
Pickles-
with a purpose. There
That's
you
what it
go.
is,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think that's what it said on the website.
Oh,
Pickles for a purpose?
pickles for prevention.
Pickles for prevention.
Pickles
there.
for prevention.
Well, we came up with a new name anyway.
Pickles with a I like pickles for prevention as well, but pickles with a purpose is good.
Anything
too.
with a P with pickles is perfect.
And we're starting to sound like Jimmy Fallon on that episode where they eat soup, him and John Hamm, and they spit it on each other on purpose as they're talking about.
Because they're all saying the
stuff.
porcupine. People, the porcupine.
That's exactly what I feel like.
Preposterous.
That is
Preposterous. What?
If you haven't seen this skit, you got to look
Can't
it up.
say
They're
words.
literally spitting all over
Oh,
each
gosh.
other because they're
right?
They're saying the P,
the microphone's
the P word. the
least
P.
favorite letter here. Well, what a great story. We love what you're doing. We love what you're making. And, I think it's so great that you have chosen your own path, that you've come out of a dark time, that you're helping the community, that you're providing an amazing product. I mean, all around. And it seems like it's already, wildly successful within 5 months. It seems like in a relatively short time, you're going to run out of the ability to do this by yourself.
I think so. Like you said, that will be a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going until I can't physically do it anymore, and then I will probably have to figure out a plan B.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I know it's early to ask because the company is so young, but I mean, I'm not kidding. I could see a little shop that you have somewhere that has your pickles and has maybe a little section of it is T-shirts and all of your branding and everything.
And maybe other foods that complement the pickles.
Yeah.
You could partner with other, brands that maybe pair up with it well.
pair up with the pickle. You're doing it on purpose.
I do it on purpose. I'm doing it on purpose. But yeah, I could totally see that because
I could too.
if you're walking, where some place that has a lot of foot traffic, and you saw your colors like on a storefront,
Right.
or like a kiosk, little even
Something,
kiosk
yeah.
thing or something, you would immediately be drawn to it. Like you can't help it. You would just be like, what is
I
this?
have visions of that. I do. I have visions of a store at City Walk where people are walking by, like
Oh
Voodoo
my
Donuts. I
gosh.
mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
attracted to the pink. And you go in and it's an experience with donuts. And I envision Pickles, Liv's Gourmet Pickles, a big bright yellow logo. You go in and it's experience. And I even picture everything on the menu, recipes with the pickle,
Pertaining
fried
to
pickles,
pickles.
all pickle related. Then you can buy the jars or the bags or
Yeah.
whatever it is, T-shirts. But yeah, it's more of an experience.
Yeah.
You know, I
love that.
also, you mentioned the donuts because as someone who now eats healthy, those things, they're cool and all. And of course, everybody likes to eat a donut. But for us, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to go there. So
Right. We
being
might
on
be looking for a
vacation or being
different
out
experience,
in a,
yeah.
right, and being in a trendy spot or whatever, and still wanting to get a cool snack that's, you know, not something super boring like another salad.
Right.
That's the option you have. And I guess maybe this is also born from your food allergy, but it's a healthy snack.
It is.
I mean, and that is honestly partially why I got one when we were at the event, because I'm watching my diet, I'm being very careful, and I'm enjoying the food I'm eating still. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get one of those. And I ate 2/3 of it sitting there.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying is when they look at the bag, they're like, oh, I can't eat this many pickles. And I think to
Dude, it's a
myself,
pickle.
wait till you try it.
Right.
And people go through the entire bag. I
Yeah.
had one person go through the entire jar by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. Think about how many pickles you have to eat to really be full. It's one of those things that you can snack on any time without feeling like you were being gluttonous or whatever.
I know.
And I feel like sometimes too, what people need to realize is the bag, it's got liquid in there.
Yeah.
The volume looks more than, I mean, just think of a English cucumber. You
Right.
know? Is it one full
Basically a full cucumber, yeah.
that's in the bag?
Every size is different, obviously, but yeah, it's pretty much a full one.
Wow.
Why do they call those burpless cucumbers? Anybody
I don't know. She would
Yeah,
have to
it
tell us
does
that.
help. So because it's seedless, so like regular cucumbers that have seeds, it does aggravate the reflux and indigestion.
Oh.
So because it's seedless, also known as burpless, it helps reduce that.
Well, that's actually good to know for people that maybe wanted to try it but can't because they have reflux problems or something.
Yeah.
Is that an issue that you were having, or did you just prefer those type of?
I actually it's funny, everything was kind of by accident. I just experimented and
It's like the best way things happen, though.
It is. It's
You
just
know?
weird. I just happened to buy English. I can't even remember why I bought the English cucumber, honestly. And then I just happened to have jars laying around, and it just kind of formed
All fell.
itself.
Oh, I love it.
Just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
There's something cosmic there. I mean, I'm not to get too philosophical, but when things are just falling together, it
Yeah.
feels like a path that you're on in a way. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, if I really feel like all the right things were in place for this to head in the direction to kind of keep you on busy with
Yeah.
it, right? Because that's what you needed. You needed
Yeah.
something to kind of be a distraction.
Exactly.
And for people to be, giving you praise for them and telling you how good they were early on. I mean, people aren't going to tell you that if they're not good. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're going to be like, okay,
Yeah,
you know.
and your friends will buy one, and then that's cool. And try to support
right.
But
you.
when when you're putting it up to just, kind of maybe some strangers you don't even really know that well, and they're ordering them,
Yeah.
that's telling you something.
Yeah.
So I feel like everything just kind of aligned right for you, and I see good things happening.
Thank you.
I
Well,
do
yeah,
too.
and for someone who struggled with no confidence for so long, the more I heard it, the more I was like, okay, I got to start believing this, because people wouldn't take
Yeah.
the time out of their day to compliment my product. And it's an amazing feeling to create something.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I do it myself, because
Yeah.
I have trust issues and control issues.
I'm right there with you.
I'm a little worried to hand it over, because no one's going to treat it the way you treat it, and that's
Yeah.
my baby.
We might be related. I
There
hear
you
you
go.
for sure.
I just can't let that go.
I know, and I didn't want to back you into a corner by saying, well, what are you going to do when you outgrow being able to do this? I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I'll oversee it.
You'll
Yeah,
figure
I'm not
it
going
out.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
have your hand in it, definitely. But always stay true to that small business kind
Yeah.
of feel, because
Yeah.
I feel like once that goes out the window, your product kind of tanks. It's not
does.
as good when somebody else kind of, has
Big
more
company
input,
swoops in and buys your brand. You know
Yeah.
what have.
and just, keep it keep it that kind of small business feel, even if it does grow
Right.
a little bit, because there's a lot of small businesses that still do that. They're able to kind of meet that demand, but they are still keeping, it with that. They're not growing it so big to where they have to let it go.
And I think you said it right.
So much, yeah.
Keeping a watchful eye over it is going to be the cue. But like we say, that's a good problem to have.
It sure
maybe
is.
That's a little ways out there,
right?
But it doesn't seem like it's going to be that too much longer.
I don't think so neither. Well, Liv, tell everybody where they can purchase your pickles.
Yes. So you can.
I just really love to use just the P words. It's just great. It is just great. Anyway,
So
tell them
funny.
where they can find out more information about
So
you.
to purchase your pickles,
There you
can
go.
go to www.livsgourmetpickles.com. And I do local delivery to select zip codes. And I do markets, but I don't do them as often now, given I'm now selling to hotels, which is still a weird feeling.
That's awesome,
That is
man.
so cool. We'll also put a link in the show notes. So
Plus, you want to stay out of those markets during the summer anyway.
I know. Well, that's the thing.
Your pickles
It's going
can't
to get
handle
so
it.
hot.
Yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
to be inside and in a building somewhere. It's like if you're selling cookies or ice cream or something. But listener, we'll put a link in the show notes, and so whatever you're listening on, you can just scroll down and click it to go there. This has been really, really cool to kind of sit and
thank
chat
you.
with
Yeah.
how it was born, and it's super interesting.
And I love when we met you at the market or at Denny's place, you were starting to kind of tell us a little bit about your story, and we're like, no,
Right.
Don't tell us.
Save
Don't
it for
spoil
the
it.
podcast. It sounds really interesting. Like you told us just enough to where we're like, oh yeah, that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
We love unique small businesses. And when it has a great story behind it, just makes it so much better. And people want to support that.
Angie and I have been doing this for
4 years.
4 years now. 5 years in a calendar, but if you actually count, because we started in the middle of a year. But we have gotten to the point to where some time ago we realized we don't want to have a business on the show if we haven't tried your product,
Right.
because we're protecting our brand, and we want our listeners to be able to, we've had people come up to us and say, I found out about these places because of you. I found out about this because of you. We don't want people to go, oh yeah, they recommend a lot of stuff that sucks. So we want to,
Yeah.
Right.
we're trying. So that's why we bought them first, and then we came back over. And so we're being absolutely authentic when we tell
No,
you.
that's understandable.
Spectacular. Yes, for sure.
But sometimes you're just trying to find podcast guests. You're like, oh, you're a small business. Oh yeah, okay, you can come on. But no. We need to.
But we've
Right.
learned,
Yeah.
I feel really good about the guests we've had on, and
Oh,
no
yeah.
disrespect,
Had
but
some
we just
great-
learned, be careful, and
Oh, yeah.
and we may or may not have done a couple interviews that never, ever, ever got put on because we wanted to kind of reset and protect our brand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, we really mean it. Absolutely great
Yeah.
product. And
Oh, thank you.
we're
It
very
means so
happy.
much.
That's
Yeah.
right, guys. And make sure to click the link and get your order in for Liv's Gourmet Pickles and add them to your pantry today. No, your refrigerator, not your pantry.
You just wanted to say Pete.
I really do. It's really fun. It's not your typical pickle, I'm telling you.
It's not
That
your
one is
typical
so great
pickle.
too. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening once again. Thank you, Liv, for joining us. And guys, remember, at the end of each and every day, it's all fine and dandy. Hi, listener. Want to know how you can help support our small local podcast? Head on over to patreon.com/fineandangie and see how you can become a patron.